Alright, what is up YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys because it is time to take a look at my deck profile for Harpies for Rush Duel. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. HPJ is definitely going to have you guys check out some of his fun with my girls, the ladies of the sky, the queens, the Harpies. So I'm not gonna do too much of this because I'm very, very tired. And I love you guys not enough to do some crazy shenanigans while I'm tired. So thank you guys really so much for this because I have been waiting to do a Rush Duel deck profile for my Harpies. And like I said, I got this up from Yugi Market. If Yugi Market gets the other Harpie cards, Harpie's Feather Duster, which is in Rush Duel now. Harpie Celia, or is it Silo? I think it's Silo. If it's not Silo, it's Celio, and because I think it's supposed to be a play on Italian, which to mean sky. I just know why they just call her Harpie Sky. Anyway, um, she's got her light skirt, and definitely looking forward to getting 3 copies of those, and then also getting the Harpie Lady 123 card as well. But we're here for my variation of Harpies as now, and then we'll worry about the other cards later. So let's go ahead, let's go through this. Starting off with my main deck, I'm running 3 copies of Harpie Lady. That is then followed up by 3 copies. Hold on, let me just move this up a bit. There we go. 3 copies of, I guess we're just going to go into the Harpie Ladies overall. 3 copies of Harpie Lady 1 with 2 copies of Harpie Lady 2 and 1 copy of Harpie Lady 3. Then we have, of course, the maximum monster, the Harpie Lady Sisters, which are just basically upgrades of the other Harpie Ladies. Then I'm running 2 copies of Harpie Lady Pet Master, 2 copies of Harpie Regina, 2 copies of Harpie Carla, and then 1 copy of Ryza the Storm Monarch. Alright, and Ryza is our Legends monster, just so you guys can know. From there, we're going to go into my spells, and that is 3 copies of my Harpie's Full Dress. That's followed up by 3 copies of my Elegant Egotist, 2 copies of Triangle Ecstasy Spark, 2 copies of Avian Spell Tactic, and 1 copy of Dark Hole. For the trap cards, I got my Legends Icarus Attack, my Harpie's Feather Tempest, my 1 copy of Splendid Slash, and Hysteric Party. So that rounds out the trial cards in my main deck, which is 40. For my extra deck, of course, you guys already know it's the 3 copies of the Harpie Lady Sisters, Triangle Beauty. That's followed up by 3 copies of Harpie Lady 2 and 3. Then Harpie Lady Feather Duster, 3 copies. 3 copies of Harpie Regina in her splendid armor. And then 3 copies of Harpie Kara in her charming dress. So that's literally all of the current fusion monsters that I was able to get my hands on in my fusion deck, which of course, yay. So let me go through all of this quickly and swiftly, so that way, if you guys have questions, you guys are always there to answer. So, this is my boss monster for my extra deck, my Harpie Lady Sisters Triangle Beauty. Their whole tactic here is contact fusion, sending the material on the field back into the deck, and then bringing out this monster, just like the Gladbees, the Elemental Heroes did here in the OCG. They're doing it in the Rush Duel series as well. And there's plenty of contact fusion monsters that I've looked up that are in Rush Duel, and they've been out, I think, for over a year now. And the Harpie Lady Sisters Triangle Beauty is just another amazing addition to the contact fusion. Take notes, TCG and OCG, because definitely this is something you should have in the game, especially with the Harpie's Legacy as of now. The benefits to this: Harpie Lady Sisters require Harpie Lady Sisters Triangle Beauty needs Harpie Lady Sisters and two wind attributed monsters for the fusion summon, which is great because you can use the maximum monster Harpie Lady sisters, and you can actually bring this monster out because each of them will meet the requirements. The other thing about this monster is that it's unaffected. No, it becomes Harpie Lady sisters, and then it's unaffected by your opponent's spells and traps while on the board. And you can't use a level 12 monster for fusion summon. Whatever, we don't care about that part. We care about all the bossness this card gives. A 3400 attacker who can be contact fused and then be able to be unaffected by your opponent's spells or traps, which is great because it's a board clear. It's a come to the board, take out things, and be unaffected by all the other shenanigans. From there, we have Harpie Lady 2 and 3, also playing on some motifs of the contact fusion. Requires one Harpie Lady 2 and one level 4 or lower Wingy Beast monster for her fusion summon. This monster name becomes Harpie Lady, and her other ability is to destroy spells and traps on the field. Yes, when your normal accessible summon a monster, your monster is unaffected by your opponent's. Your opponent cannot activate trap cards. It's basically just to stun out your opponent. Sorry if I'm getting this confused. Like I said, I'm very sleepy. Harpie Lady's Feather Duster. She becomes Harpie Lady while on the field. You can send the top card of your deck to the grave. And if it is a normal monster in your graveyard, she's able. Excuse me. Well, in addition, her name becomes Harpie Lady, and you can only do the distraction effect during your main phase. Typical, just fusion monster stuff. Harpie Regina in her splendid armor. So, she has the ability. She requires Harpie Regina in a level 4 lower monster for her fusion summon. Kind of just like how the others will. During your main phase, when she special summon, you can change the battle position of one of your opponent's monsters into defense position. And then if Splendid slashes in your grave, you can target a defense position monster your opponent controls and destroy it. So, a little bit of spot removal while also looking elegant and pretty. And speaking of elegant and pretty, here is Harpie Kara, who requires Harpie Kara in a level 4 or lower win monster. She can send top 3 cards of your deck to the grave, and if you happen to have a normal Wingy Beast monster in your graveyard, she is able to target a monster your opponent controls and makes it lose 1500 attack. Not a big wolf on hindsight, but just a way to help you clear out the board. And also clear out Kara if you've already used her ability. Which, of course, we'll talk about when we get to main deck. But these are basically just the lineup of the extra deck monsters that I'll be using for now. And then once I get the others, I'll try to incorporate them as best as I possibly can. Maybe some more than others. But yeah, that's my lineup there. And then we go on into this main deck full of wholesome and goodness. Harpie Ladies is here because she is a normal monster. There are tons of utility cards that require the normal variant of Harpie Lady. It's crazy to say, but yeah, it actually still is true. Right? Excuse me. All the massive amount of reprints that have been occurring, or all the amount of other monsters in the game. But hey, give the normal monsters their shot. Harpie Lady 1, Harpie Lady 2, and Harpie Lady 3. These are the monsters, of course, in the TCG and OCG could not be included in the deck because of the maximum 3 ruling. Well, thankfully for Rush Duel, they changed it to not only support having these multiple monsters in the deck, but changing up some of their abilities. So Harpie Lady 2 and 3 become Harpie Lady while they're on the field. Oh, actually, all 3 of them become Harpie Lady while in the field or while in the graveyard. Harpie Lady 1 has it as her continuous effect. 2 and 3 have to send top card of your deck to the graveyard in order to trigger that in their additional ability. Harpie Lady 2's additional ability is that your opponent cannot what is it? Shoot. Oh, Harpie Lady 2's ability is that when she attacks, your opponent cannot activate trap cards. Then Harpie Lady 3 has the ability to target a level 8 or lower monster, and um, it can attack until the end of your opponent's turn. Sorry, I'm blanking. But yeah, these are a lot big of a change from them what the original Harpie Ladies were, in terms of like, you know, do this, do that, but we're always Harpie Lady. So it was a way to leeway a lot of things without having to jump over hoops and hurdles to give Harpies the massive edge that they didn't have in the TCG and OCG. That's right, I'm calling those shots out now. Harpie Ladies as the maximum monster. I love this because it re-evaluates being Harpie. And it's such a really cool concept of it. They're all treated as Harpie Lady sisters while on the field or in the graveyard. In addition to that, they have their own unique abilities. This Harpie Lady right here, the one that will be in the middle, she gives the maximum of 3,400. Once a turn, you can send up to 2 wind monsters in your grave, show them back into your deck. And then target 1 wind monster you control, give it 500 attack. Then if you maximum summon her, you can inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent as well. Now, while the maximum summon is can only be done once you have L and R, they began with basically a 1200 level 10 beat stick that is just there to just trample over anything that comes their way. Harpie Lady L allows you to be unaffected by your opponent's traps, which is great. And I do believe her other ability, because sorry, things blank on me, is that that's L, right? That's L. Harpie Lady L's ability to she can be destroyed by your opponent's trap cards, and then the maximum summon just increases their level, which isn't much, but it's something. Harpie Lady 3's, on the other hand, allows you to attack your opponent's monsters multiply, which just helps clear out the board when they're maximum summoned. And I do believe you have to be maximum summoned in order for that, right? This card thinks it's Harpie Lady. Oh, she can be destroyed by opponent's monster effects as well, which is good too. So you have a monster that can be destroyed by opponent's monster effects, and then when they're maximum summoned, able to swing 3 times. So good usages for things. Alright, moving on from that are the rest of the Harpies in this deck. We have the triple copies of Harpie's Pet Master. Harpie Lady's Pet Master. She's able to destroy a monster your opponent controls. You send out her deck to grave. Her name becomes Harpie Lady while in the field. And then she has the ability to destroy one monster in the field that your opponent controls. But you have to have 3 or more Harpie monsters on the field to do it. Similar to Harpie's Pet Baby Dragon here in the TCG and OCG. Harpie Regina. When normal or special summon, you can draw 1 card. And then if you have a Winged Beast monster in your graveyard, a face-up normal monster in the field. I'm sorry, not in your grave. You have a face-up normal monster in your field. You can add 1 Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady sisters from your graveyard to your hand. So she's your cycle while also draw power. And I believe you have to have another wind attributed Winged Beast monster on the field in order to send the card from your hand to the grave. From there, we have Harpie Kara, and she's basically here just to fetch the Harpie's full dress from the graveyard and set it onto the board. While Tempest, the Storm Monarch, allows you to basically do what he does here in the TCG. Select the card on your opponent's side of the field, and send it to the top of the deck. And that's simply just when you tribute in for this guy. But it shouldn't be much of a problem. And of course, this tends to be the most common legend card that they use in terms of the monsters. Now, for the spell cards, I'm only using the one that they gave to me. So please don't chew me out in the comment section for not having something like, I don't know, Graceful Charity and stuff. Because hey, unless somebody wants to give it to me, which you're more than welcome, don't complain about it. Harpie's Full Dress, which gives the additional 800 attack to, I was gonna say to yourself. It's the Harpie's full dress. Gives 800 attack and 400 defense to the monster equipped to it. It can only be equipped to a face-up Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady sisters. And if you have 3 or more face-up monsters on the field, the equipped monster can inflict piercing battle damage. So like I said before, give this to your Harpie Lady sisters maximum monster and just let them beat up your opponent. Or you can give this to your Harpie Lady sisters triple beauty and they just become a piercing battle damage beat stick with little to no regrets. Elegant Egotist works completely different than it did in the TCG OCG. And if you have a Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady sisters on the field, you just have summon up to 2 Harpie Ladies from your graveyard onto the board. Yep. So the swarm factor comes into play thanks to, of course, Elegant Egotist and its Kaleido Magi. From there, there's also one more thing to know about Elegant Egotist. If you do summon, the monsters that you have cannot declare an attack on attack monsters with 1200 or less attack. That's perfectly fine there too. My Harpies don't even be too worried about that, because most of the time you're just going to get rid of them to use them for another ability or setup. Anyway, I'm sorry, it's the truth. Triangle Ecstasy Spark. You have to have Harpie Lady Sisters on the field to activate this card's effect. Give up to 3 wind monsters you control 600 attack, and your opponent cannot activate trap cards for the rest of the turn. So a way to blanket the field of traps, but also beefing up your monsters. And I can see why this card had to be a 2. That ability is crazy. Avian Spell Tactics just allows you to clear out the back row. And then be able to, hold on, I'm looking for it. There it goes. Avian Spell Tactics, yeah. Have 2 or more face-up warrior and or winged beast monsters to then destroy a spell trap your opponent controls. And if you have a level 8 or lower a winged beast or warrior monster, you can put them on top of your deck. So yeah, recycle plus removal, all in one. Dark Hole, major monster removal. Alright, and then going into the trap cards, we have, of course, the Icarus attack, which also is different from what it is here in the TCG LC. You do require to have a winged beast monster for this card's effect. When your opponent normally summons a monster after your opponent activates a spell, send 1 face-up winged beast monster to the grave to destroy 2 cards your opponent controls. Basically, yeah, removal, trap wise. Harpie's Feather Tempest. I believe this activates when your opponent normal or special summons a monster. Shuffle 2 your Harpie Lady and our Harpie Lady sisters in your grave into the deck. Destroy the normal summon monster. And then if you shuffle a normal monster into the deck as requirements, you can change the battle position of one of your opponent's monsters on the field. So face up monster face down and a face down monster face up. Which, yay. And, crazy shenanigans. Splendid Slash. This allows you to, because sorry, some of these cards I kind of don't use. When your monster on the field is destroyed by an opponent's attack or their card effect, place a Harpie Lady or sisters in your graveyard to the top or bottom of your deck. And when you do, you can place 1 monster your opponent controls to the bottom of their deck. So, monster removal without destruction. Awesome. Hysteric Party. And this card definitely does not work the same way it did in Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG and OCG. When your opponent draws a card during their turn, or when one of your monsters is destroyed by an opponent's attack, you can send 1 card from your hand to the grave to summon from your graveyard. That's 3 Harpie Lady and our Harpie Lady sisters, and or winged beast fusion monsters from your graveyard face up to the field. So basically, swarm. And we love a good swarm, don't we, Hysteric Party? You don't know how many times that card definitely has gotten me out of some jams. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that said and done, because of course it's time to wrap up this Harpie Lady deck profile. First off, thank you guys so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. And thank you guys for coming to watch this video. I'll definitely have some more in the future and hopefully some newer additions to it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate that. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel because it helps me out tremendously. You can hit the notification bell to be informed of when I upload more of my content to the channel. Socials are in the description box below, and I'm extremely tired, you guys, but I'm grateful for you all watching and sticking around. Thank you so much, everybody. And with that said, HBJ signing out. Take care.